A narcissist fears losing control above all else. The most powerful move you can make is to show them they never had it. They thrive on attention and emotional chaos, draining your energy until you question your own strength. But you don't need to argue or seek revenge. You only need to reclaim your mental clarity. Today, you'll master 7 Stoic strategies to render them powerless, not through conflict or shouting, but by becoming unshakable from within. Ready to see how it's done? First, starve them of attention. Narcissists feed on your reactions, craving both praise and conflict. The more you engage, the stronger they become. Stoics knew that what you ignore loses its grip. I learned this dealing with a colleague who thrived on drama. Every insult, every jab was a trap. When I stopped reacting, their game collapsed. Silence unnerves them more than any outburst. Marcus Aurelius said, "Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep." Ask yourself, what happens when you stop feeding their need for attention? Second, set unbreakable boundaries. Narcissists despise limits because boundaries strip away their control. I had a coworker who constantly overstepped late-night calls, last-minute demands. At first, I explained my refusals, but explanations only fueled their pressure. So, I stopped justifying. I said no and stood firm. The tension was real, but everything shifted. Epictetus taught that you control your mind, not external events. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you choose to lock. When was the last time you held a boundary without apology? Third, embody Stoic calm. Narcissists feed on your reactions, pushing until fear makes you pliable. I faced a manager who loved confrontation. One day, I refused to engage. He shouted. I stayed composed, speaking slowly, detached from emotion. The shift was immediate. He lost momentum because I gave him nothing to latch onto. Seneca said, "The wise find contentment in what they have." Calm isn't weakness, it's strength in disguise. What happens when you meet chaos with stillness? Fourth, refuse to justify yourself. Narcissists want you defensive, demanding you explain every choice so they can twist your words. I learned this from a friend who questioned my every decision. Explaining didn't help, it only prolonged the cycle. So, I stopped. I said no, and let it stand. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Stop wasting time debating what a good person should be. Be one." When you act with quiet conviction, you shut their control out. What if you stopped explaining and let your actions speak? Fifth, succeed quietly. Nothing unsettles a narcissist more than success they can't claim. I worked with someone who mocked my small wins, so I stopped sharing them. I focused on my work and let results speak. Over time, they grew restless, with nothing to attack. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Build in silence. Let progress be your response." What if you stopped proving yourself and became untouchable? Sixth, practice empathy without entanglement. You can understand a narcissist's behavior without falling into their trap. I worked with a colleague who thrived on conflict. Instead of reacting, I studied their patterns. That taught me more about human nature than any book. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When you see them as a lesson, not a threat, their power fades. Can you observe without getting drawn in? That's where true freedom begins. Seventh, walk away and never look back. Sometimes, the only way to win is to leave. I saw a friend trapped in a cycle of manipulation, always hoping for change that never came. The day he left was the day he reclaimed his peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. When you walk away, you choose freedom over control." What would your life look like if you closed that door for good conclusion? Reclaim your power. These 7 strategies aren't about revenge, they're about liberation. Each one pulls you out of their grasp and back to your inner strength. Stoicism teaches that true power comes from mastering yourself, not others. When you stop letting them control the game, you rise above. You choose clarity over chaos. Ask yourself, are you ready to take back your power and live unshakable? Share your thoughts and start your transformation today.